The music in the cafe was low, the kind that hummed like a shared secret between the cracked leather booths and the old brick walls. People said this place never slept, not really. Truckers, night shift nurses, bikers with road dust still on their boots, everyone passed through at some point. And standing in the middle of it all, moving from table to table with a practiced smile, was Lily. She wore the same simple uniform every night, sleeves always pulled down no matter how warm the room got, eyes kind but tired, like someone who had learned to keep going without asking why. "Before I tell you what happened," Lily would later say, "hit like, subscribe, and stay with me till the end, because some moments change everything." That night, though, she had no idea her life was about to be split into a before and an after. The bell over the cafe door rang hard, loud enough to cut through the music. Conversations dipped. A biker walked in alone, tall and broad-shouldered, leather jacket creaking as he moved. His beard was untrimmed, his knuckles scarred, and the patches on his vest told stories nobody dared ask about. Some people shifted in their seats. Others pretended not to notice. Lily noticed anyway. She always did. She grabbed a menu and walked over, steady, professional, even when her heart sped up just a little. He didn't look at the menu. His eyes followed her hands as she placed a glass of water down. "Coffee," he said, voice rough like gravel on asphalt. She nodded, turned to leave, and that should have been it. Just another customer. Just another order. But the night had other plans. The biker stood suddenly, chair scraping loud against the floor. Someone laughed nervously. Someone else muttered a curse. Lily turned back, confusion flickering across her face. He took a step toward her, too close, his shadow swallowing her under the warm cafe lights. Words were exchanged, sharp ones, careless ones. No one remembers exactly how it escalated, only that tension snapped like a wire pulled too tight. In a flash of movement that froze the room, his hand caught the fabric of her shirt. There was a ripping sound, quick, violent, unmistakable. Gasps filled the air. A cup shattered somewhere. The bartender shouted. For one terrible heartbeat, everything stopped. And then everyone saw it. Beneath the torn fabric, there was no scandal, no shock meant for cruel laughter. There were scars. Old ones. Long ones. Some thin like faded threads, others thick and raised, crossing her shoulder and collarbone like a map of survival. A tattoo wound around them, not to hide them, but to honor them, a phoenix rising from ashes, inked carefully over broken skin. The biker's face drained of color. His hand dropped. His mouth opened, but no sound came out. The cafe was silent in a way that felt heavy, sacred even. Lily didn't scream. She didn't cry. She reached up slowly, pulling the torn shirt closed with shaking fingers, her eyes locked on his. And in those eyes wasn't fear. It was something else. Something steady. Something that said, "I've already survived worse." Security rushed in. The bartender vaulted the counter. Chairs scraped back as people stood, ready to defend her. But the biker didn't move. He just stared, like he was seeing something he had spent years trying to forget. "I'm sorry," he finally whispered. The word cracked when it left his mouth. Lily breathed in, then out. Her voice, when she spoke, was quiet but clear. "You don't get to touch people," she said. "But you do get to choose what kind of man you are after you stop." The manager insisted she take the rest of the night off. Someone offered a jacket. Another woman wrapped an arm around her shoulders. The biker was escorted out, not fighting, not arguing, just walking like every step. Weighed 100 pounds. Later, when the cafe had settled and the music returned, Lily sat at the counter, hands wrapped around a mug she didn't remember ordering. A few regulars stayed, not wanting to leave her alone. Stories came out then, the kind that only surface after something breaks open. She talked about the fire that took her childhood home. About pulling her little brother out before the roof collapsed. About the hospital, the months of recovery, the mirrors she avoided. About learning to stand tall again, not despite the scars, but because of them. "They remind me," she said softly, "that I'm still here." Across town, the biker sat on his bike, helmet resting on the ground. He stared at his hands, the same hands that had hurt people before. The scars on Lily's skin had torn something open in him too, a memory of his sister, lost to violence he couldn't stop. A lifetime of anger he wore like armor. For the first time in years, he cried, shoulders shaking in the dark. Days passed. Then one afternoon, the bell over the cafe door rang again. Lily stiffened when she saw him. He stood just inside, helmet tucked under his arm, eyes lowered. He didn't come closer until she nodded. "I came to say this," he said, voice steadier than before. "What I did was wrong. No excuse. Seeing your scars, it reminded me that everyone's fighting something. I'm trying to fight better." He slid an envelope onto the counter, money for damages, for her shirt, for more than that. She pushed it back. "Donate it," she said. "Burn unit. They need it." He nodded, relief and shame mixing on his face. "Thank you," he said, and meant it. That night, Lily worked her shift again. Same cafe. Same music. But something had changed. People looked at her with respect, not pity. Strength has a way of filling a room when it's finally seen. So if you're watching this and you've ever felt small, marked, broken, remember this cafe, this moment. Remember that scars don't make you weak. They prove you lived. If this story moved you, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and stay kind, because you never know what someone survived just to stand in front of you and smile.